Get in on all the NFL playoff action at MyBookie. Make your winning move today and bet at MyBookie. Use promo code Gators and claim your deposit match, redeemable up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Gators Breakdown, because there's never a dull moment in Gator Nation.
The Gators Breakdown podcast. Hey, we are back at it once again. I'm your host, David Waters. You can find me on social media at GatorDave_SEC, and with recruiting and transfer portal, it's just not going to stop. Not going to stop right here this time of year. Just the nature of college football right now. But hey, that gives us many more times to just get back together and talk some Gator football. And this one right here, cornerback Jameer Grimsley, who was, remember, this 2024 cycle was a target Florida was going after. He ends up choosing Bama. Nick Saban retires, and boom, ends up a Gator anyway. So we'll kind of get into that storyline, how this happened, the type of player he is, look at some highlights as well. All that coming up right here on this episode of Gators Breakdown. So hit that like button. Subscribe to Gators Breakdown if you haven't done so yet, right here on YouTube if you're watching the video version, or if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform and haven't subscribed yet, hey, go ahead. What you waiting on? But smash that like button. Leave some comments right here. I know the comments are going to be pretty good about this one, and kind of the way it's transpired the last few days with 2024 targets, thinking they were heading elsewhere, signing elsewhere, and then ending up in Gainesville. That's just a new world of college football right now. So we'll get into those storylines as well, of course. But hey, that conversation is certainly going on Gators Breakdown Plus. Link is in the description. Take part in the conversation on the Discord server. A lot of good chats going on there. Some voice chats coming up with all this news as well. A chat episode, all that good stuff. So you get the ad-free episode of Gators Breakdown right there as well. One more time, link is in the description to join Gators Breakdown Plus. And also, of course, it is the NFL playoffs. How about you take advantage of it? Put cash in your wallet with MyBookie. MyBookie has the biggest online selection of odds and contests to fill all your sports betting needs anytime, anywhere. Turn all that sports knowledge, this NFL playoff knowledge that you got right now watching these games, turn all that into cash in your wallet. Bet on that or play for a share of the big cash prizes and weekly blackjack tournaments at MyBookie. If you've been waiting for the right time to get in on the action, that time is now. Make your winning move today. Sign up at MyBookie. Use promo code Gators and claim your deposit match, redeemable up to $1,000. One more time, that is promo code Gators to claim your bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. All right, Gator Nation, let's go. And we're going to do it one more time. Hey, we got to commit, and it is Jameer Grimsley from the state of Florida, Tampa Catholic, 6'3", 185-pound cornerback. Now, quickly found his next destination after entering the transfer portal from Alabama on Thursday. This is, as I said, a current 2024 cycle transfer. He's not getting out of his letter of intent like DeAndre Robinson did at Texas. He had to hit the transfer portal. So, following Nick Saban's retirement, Alabama players have been hitting the portal left and right. And that just opened the door. A coach leaves, and you get that... you get that chance now without any penalty. So he hits the transfer portal, wants to get on campus fast at Florida, and that's what he's doing here. Returning to his home state, committing to the Gators. Now, there was some talk. You guys have been following this as well the last few days. There was some talk that he may visit LSU this weekend and give LSU a chance with former Gators defensive back Corey Raymond, who's back in Baton Rouge. Well, obviously, that didn't happen. He wanted to be home, wanted to be closer to – that was going to be – That was a storyline. Would he follow Corey Raymond? Was that relationship good enough that it didn't necessarily work out at Florida, but he would go to LSU? Well, didn't happen. He ends up a Gator. One more time, 6'3", 185-pound cornerback. The type of size and length that you like right there at the cornerback position. So let's take a look at type of player he is and pull up these highlights right here, and you'll see him play some wide receiver in these highlights as well. But 24/7 Sports' Andrew Ivins offers this analysis of Grimsley, a gangly defensive back prospect with two-way production and verified foot speed. Measurables aren't verified at the time that this was written, but In-person evaluation suggests that he's well north of 6 foot, and certainly he is, equipped with long limbs, quick twitch athlete with sudden movement patterns that can chew up grass, has advanced ball skills, which likely stems from extensive offensive background as a wide receiver. Isn't the most technically buttoned up defender, but has a knack for creating turnovers and finding ways to the football. Projects as more of a field corner with his length and range, but isn't afraid to come up and strike the ball carrier. Watch these highlights. You will see that. So this is, which might mean he's also able to find work in a boundary role or even at safety. Transfer schools in advance of his senior season in hope of facing better competition. Will likely need a developmental year or two before he's ready to go on Saturdays, but has the tools to eventually emerge as a multi-year starter at the Power 5 level. Track times and frame are likely to draw looks from NFL scouts one day if he can avoid setbacks and keep progressing. On3 offers this analysis of Grimsley, physically gifted defensive back with one of the best combinations of length, athleticism, and ball skills among 2024 cornerback prospects. A taller corner measuring in a 6'5" or a 6'1.5", 185 pound prior to his senior season, has elite strength. Has elite length with his arms. Sorry, I got a phone call there, but I had to get that. Has elite length with arms that have measured well over 33 inches to go with 10-inch hands. Turns in strong marks as a sprinter in track and field, running 10.94 seconds in the 100-meter and 21.89 seconds in the 200-meter as a junior. Plays on both sides of the ball as a receiver and cornerback/safety. Shows an easy, long stride in the open field. Ball skills register on the high end among cornerback prospects given his experience on the offense. Has the ability to win contested catches as a receiver. Tracks and locates the football. Not afraid to lower his shoulder and strike pass catchers. More of a size and skill set projection, and would need to ratchet up his production as a senior. Older for the cycle, turning 19 years old in the middle of his senior season, will be 20 as a freshman in college. So that was the analysis, and then we had to extend that, of course. He was injured much of his senior year with an ankle injury, completely recovered. He's ready to go. But yeah, as you can see here, all that analysis right there, looking at these huddle highlights, that translates as well. You see the tall, length, the range. You see the ability to make moves. You see as a DB or as a receiver, tracking down the ball. And what the biggest thing I like, because of what we have seen on the field for Florida with these defensive backs recently, is a lack of physicality. Well, you get that here in Grimsley. You see it in the highlights. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there, not afraid to make a play. The effort right here, his offense throws an interception. He tracks down the play here. So all that, you certainly look at the highlights, given the analysis from On3 and 24/7, what you can see here as well. It's all there. Look at lengthy athlete, great speed, likely, honestly, definitely would need likely to put on some weight before he's going to make some contributions, get developed for a year, be a key part of the secondary in a season or two. But let's not overlook the fact that we know Nick Saban's reputation and the defensive back reputation in Alabama. That's where he was going until Nick Saban retired. So obviously, that speaks in and of itself. I mean, that's a mark right there of what Nick Saban can do, what Nick Saban can do for that position group. And he wants a guy like Grimsley on his team. Yeah, sign me up. I mean, look, we all wanted him anyway. I mean, but we knew there was a competition that was going to be going on with Alabama. That's where he ended up. This was not one to just kind of overlook. I mean, this is a big time down the road pickup right here for the Gators. Of course, not the type and where Florida is at roster wise at the same time. I'm not going to come in here and make his presence felt as a true freshman cornerback. And that's not what Florida needs right now. This is a down the road projection, and nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that as well. But certainly like what we got here. Hey, look, maybe even if it maybe doesn't work out at cornerback, I mean, you sit here and watch these wide receiver highlights and say, okay, well, maybe there's something there. So, maybe special teams down the road as well. I think when you look at that, but I like what Florida's doing here in Grimsley. Take one last highlight look on the offensive side. Here he goes, taking the screen. I'm going to assume makes a big play here. But okay, there we go. That's what you get with Jameer Grimsley, and we'll see what he ends up. But certainly like the versatility he can bring as a player here for Florida from the defensive backfield, and also possibly, maybe down the road, an offensive player if the Gators ever so need it. But let's see. It's funny how it works out. Grimsley was certainly needed this cycle as evidence from Florida's initial pursuit. I mean, they wanted him, of course. Needed to add him to this class. I mean, let's look at the 2024 class and Teddy Foster being the only cornerback commit. So combine that with last year's class of Jakeem Jackson, Dijon Johnson, Sharif Denson, and there's so your young starters, your depth pieces. Looking past this upcoming season for Florida, minus whatever happens in the transfer portal down the road. But that's, looking at pure high school recruited guys. I mean, that's a pretty good nucleus, a pretty good, when you start looking at the 2025 season, 2026 season. Yes, I know rosters can change from here and there, but just given what we know right now, that's a pretty good little group there. Highly rated out of the high school group there with Jakeem Jackson, Dijon Johnson, Sharif Denson. You add Jameer Grimsley to that. So now, if you take a look at Florida's class, the 2024 class, and then look, I am going to look at it a little bit different than what it's probably going to be officially labeled as, since he had to hit the transfer portal and not be considered a traditional 2024 recruit any longer since he hit the transfer portal. Like I said, it's not like DeAndre Robinson getting out of his letter of intent to Texas and basically just becoming a normal 2024 recruit. Grimsley had to hit the portal, so more than likely he won't be counted in the high school rankings, but I'm going to do that. So looking at him, and you have to use 24/7 Sports class calculator to get how this would break out. Not counting him as a transfer would place Florida's class up to number 13 on the 24/7 Sports composite rankings with 20 2024 high school recruits, not 19 and counting him as a transfer. I am throwing him. My podcast, I'll do however I want. And I think talking to a whole lot of other people, this is how they would view him as well. He hasn't played a down of college football. And he's probably going to be labeled a transfer in a lot of the rankings unless they make a special case for him. But taking a look at 2024 recruits, he would rise Florida up to 13th in the 24/7 Sports composite and give him 20 2024 high school recruits. Now, I will throw him in the overall because that really doesn't matter. Now, his ranking shouldn't change. I had to use to throw out this episode as soon as possible after the commitment. Use the calculator here a bit, but they shouldn't change his. I mean, he hasn't played it down in college football. His ranking and rating should not change. So when considering both high school and transfer portal recruits, Florida's class is now 12th overall with high school recruits and transfer portal additions. Looking at it, Grimsley is the 6th highest commit for the 2024 class, bringing the total to 8 players from the state of Florida in the 2024 class now. So a little bit of class summary right there, but with the addition of Robinson and Grimsley now, rising up a bit from where we were on early signing day. Now, speaking of Robinson and this recruitment, this is something I wanted to discuss about this. I think these recruitments really show and are perfect examples of why you don't give up recruiting players in this day and age of college football. You let them keep visiting as many times as they want. I know some of the fan base feels used or something at those points where guys visit over and over and over again and a commitment doesn't come out of it. No, this is why you keep doing those things. You let them keep visiting. You keep up a relationship. You keep in contact. You show that interest. In this day and age of this day and age of college football, with the transfer portal and coaches leaving, building a great relationship early on may not pay off initially, but it may pay off down the road. And I know the popular names is like Jeremiah Smith and Malik Bryant, Cormani McLean, all those names we've heard the past couple of cycles and seemed like they were living in Gainesville at one point, and only for them to go somewhere else. But these two examples right here are why you keep doing those things. I mean, say Ohio State has a coaching change next year. Don't you think Florida's going to be up there for Jeremiah Smith if he decides to transfer away just because of the relationship he built in high school recruiting? Pretty sure that paid off right here with these two recent commitments of Robinson and Grimsley. So in this new age of college football, yeah, you may feel slighted, but you keep those relationships. You keep those relationships open. Now, of course, you look down the road, Florida may not want a Malik Bryant at this point or Cormani McLean at this point. Now we'll see what those players end up being. Smith is kind of an easy one because we still haven't seen him play college football yet. But that's going to keep happening. There's going to be kids that visit Gainesville over and over and over again, especially in the state of Florida, where the trip with all these prospects, a trip to Gainesville is nothing. Take a short, few hour drive, be in Gainesville for a game, be in Gainesville for a weekend, all these unofficial visits, they can eventually pay off. So my perspective, and look, that's always been my perspective. And there's conversations on Twitter and conversations in the Discord about, why are we letting this guy visit? No, I've maintained this, and now it is kind of showing some payoff here of why you keep letting them visit and keep a relationship with them. So there we go. I think it paid off right here. As I mentioned, you go back to early signing day. This class, look, it's still not where it needs to be ultimately, but it's after these two additions much better than where it was. There's a lot of good pieces to this 2024 class, and it's only gotten better in the last couple of days. Needs to be better, but at least there were ways to make it better when the opportunity presented itself. So there we go. One more right here for the Gators in the class of 2024. Plenty of storylines going on out there around transfer portal and high school recruiting and even turning the page of 2025 a little bit. We'll be doing that right here on Gators Breakdown. But be sure to listen to the previous episode, DeAndre Robinson committing to the Gators. One more class of 2024. Up there in the trenches on the defensive line. Big pickup there for the Gators. Love that kid. Love that one. But plenty more. All the storylines out there of visitors this weekend. We'll see what it all does. We'll probably summarize it somehow, some way. Get another commitment. We'll be right here with another episode of Gators Breakdown. But that'll do it for this episode of Gators Breakdown. I'm your host, David Waters. You can find me on social media at GatorDave_SEC. Guys and girls out there, thank you for joining me on this episode of Gators Breakdown.